Good morning, guys. We're going to work on this symmetrical grid drawing here. Now, this might be a little bit too simple for some of you. However, there are going to be some of you that actually need to have this assignment. This falls into the idea of being symmetrical, which means whatever happens onto the left-hand side happens exactly on the other side. Now, this is a grid drawing, and on top of this is laid a equal grid on the left-hand side compared to the right-hand side. And what we're going to do is have you go ahead and sketch in this same image on the left is on the right here. Now what that means is that it's best to start, you can start anywhere you want to. You can start from the ear or from the top or with the eye or with the nose or at the bottom, whichever way you want to do it. I like to go ahead and start with the contour or the perimeter first. So that's where I'm going to go ahead and get that played in. All right. However, let's go ahead and do it that way. A good way of working this is to go ahead and count the number of squares related to points. All right. So there's going to be a point located right here. Let me go ahead and shift over here to this colored pencil here. So I'm going to look for this point right there. And so if you go on from the outside, you're going to see that it's basically 2 down and about 2 over. So I'm going to come over here and go 2 down and almost 2 over. Now, and I'm going to compare the inverse of the actual point. Okay, so that means a lot of kids will try to make that point over here, because if you take this square, this is in the bottom right hand quadrant of this square, and it'd be right here. That would be the wrong thing. Remember, this is all going to be inverted, which means backwards, So I'm going to find this point generally right about there. The next point I want to go ahead and locate will probably be this one here. Now you can do the old counting thing that works pretty good. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 4 down also. 1, 2, 3, 4. That'll give you this point. So we do the same thing the opposite. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 down. It's kind of close to being on the outside. Yeah, I think that's a good way of doing it. As I refer to directions on these quadrants by inside being towards the center and then outside going out. So if you look at this square right here, it's kind of going to be up like this and heading here. As you can see, I messed up over here. This should have been on the inside right there rather than this point right here. So it's easy to make mistakes. You have to keep your concentration pretty high. Then what I'm going to do is sort of follow this up, noticing where this will change. It passes over this grid line here. It's almost in the middle, closer to the outside. So I come here to the middle and then go a little bit outside. And then it goes crosses right about here. Then it's going to go ahead up and run its way around like this here. I don't know how well you can see it on the camera, but we'll come back and darken this up later on. Now you can do this first very, very lightly in a layout, a pencil line, and then go ahead and darken in your keeper lines here, just sort of like this here. The next point I want to find is the end of the lines. This is really a lesson in lines, line direction. This is what I would consider one line. This is another line. And then our next line, of course, is going to be from the top here to the one down here. So I'm going to plot the location of this point. Okay, as you can see, it's completely 1 over and 3/4 of the way down this line towards the inside. So I'm going to go 1 over and 3/4 here and find that point. All right. And then what I'm going to go ahead and do is track this. Now, again, this doesn't need to be exact. Don't all freak out about that, As always, I'm interested in you guys basically making good drawings, not good copies. Got the idea? So just have a good drawing with this here. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work on this line here. Now, as you can see, it is one line, and it goes up a little bit here and then stops right here at this point. So it's going to follow it across, and then it's going to go to this point. And then I'm going to sort of do what the opposite of this does here. And of course, it extends a little bit further into this, and you can do that if you want. Then I'm going to go ahead and continue working it around. My next line is right here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and draw it in. As you can see, it doesn't quite break the square. It's an easy one to do. Alright, and then the last line works right around like this here. It almost goes horizontal. Well, actually, it's right here. But again, they do not need to be perfect. Alright, I'm just interested in basically the general idea. Now again, I like to start with the outside line, and it helps keep everything else in sort of proportion. And believe it or not, this is the hardest line to actually do. A lot of times I like to start off with the hardest stuff and then end up with the more easier stuff. It's going to work its way around like this here. Alright. It's going to go one all the way across. And so then what we've got here is just a matter of taking your time and doing it well and finding the locations of all these different pieces. Got the idea? Now we got one complete square over. It's not in the middle, it's a little bit to the outside. That's going to give me that little white dot here for the eye. And then you can calculate the other locations of the other pieces. Got the idea? Now once you get that done and you get the whole thing figured out, take some time, concentrate, make sure that whatever happens on the left you do on the right. I've got my layout lines. Now I'm going to come back and I'm going to start paying attention to the thickness of the lines, okay? Wherever it's thick on the left-hand sides, I want you to do sort of the same exact thickness on the other side. That's one of the objectives, thick and thin lines, all right? The lessons over the last several weeks have all been about lines. Thin, thick, curved, straight, this and that. Got the idea? So this is what I want you to do. Go ahead and work through the grid drawing thing. And again, remember to get this posted. Now, today's Thursday. You probably want to get this done and posted today. All right? Tomorrow is going to be a short day for all of y'all. So you're not going to have enough time to post all of this stuff that we've basically been working on all week long and take the quiz at the same time. So what I suggest you do is you get all of this stuff posted tonight, at the end of this day, before you take the quiz tomorrow. The quiz tomorrow is basically going to be, you'll have some study time before that. So make sure that you go ahead and think ahead. That's what this is all about, teaching y'all to think ahead. Got the idea? So make that happen. Also, you're going to have a zap alert today to sort of help facilitate this idea. What I mean by that is, at the end of today, make sure that you turn in your step form drawings. All right? Because I'm going to actually grade those tonight. And if you don't have it graded in, I'm going to zap you on Friday morning. Now, I don't want to do that, but that's part of my job. Okay, so we'll get that taken care of, and you make sure you take care of your business, and I'll take care of mine. Have a great day. Enjoy yourselves. This is the last of the warm days. I think it's going to start getting colder for the weekend.